The Square Ball Podcast.
Hello and welcome to the show. It's brought to you in association with
Leeds Solicitors.
Look at that. He's on the ball today. Michael and Rob with you, as well as me, Dan. Hello. LeviSolicitors.co.uk/the square ball to get you 10% discount on your legal fees. What's the exciting news, Michael? For anybody who's new to this and doesn't know, just do the thing that people want it now.
But the Wills Probate Conveyance, an extra discount.
What's exciting is that there's some new messaging on the way from Levi's, I think. So get it while it's hot for a limited time only.
I won't be remembering it, that's for sure.
you can barely remember Wills Probate Conveyancing, can you?
It's taken me about a year for this.
Yes,
I'm a work in progress.
15% off Wills Probate and Conveyancing if you head to the Phil Hay Monday Club, find the URL, the discount code thingy there. It's all good. It's all good. You'll get you 15% off those. LeviSolicitors.co.uk/the square ball. Weekly show. Second to last weekly show of the season. We're going to have a little tiny break just after the season finishes, aren't we? But we'll wrap it all up next week after the Spurs game.
Yeah, standard week next week.
Obviously very exciting with the surviving and stuff on the last day that we've got to capture that moment.
Very high expectations for the next week.
We were just saying before we started recording now, we thank God it's all over soon.
I feel like really zen this week, just knowing it's all going to be over. Like that week building up to the West Ham game, I just felt burnt out by it all. I thought, oh God, when's it ever going to stop? Whereas now I'm like, oh great, we're going down. I know what's happening. This is brilliant.
Certainty, isn't it?
Yeah, it's nice.
There was a kindness in this weekend, wasn't there? Particularly with Leicester getting the point at Newcastle as well, because when it's just two results you need, but when it ticked over to 3 results you need, you go, there's no chance. There's no chance.
Well, there is a chance. It's just very small.
There's no chance.
It's just very small. What do we have to talk about, first of all? Well, at the end of the season can't come soon enough. What's happening after the end of the season? Another charity walk. We haven't mentioned it much just because we've all been, I think, so all consumed by the relegation fight that we've not really mentioned it. But we are doing a repeat performance of last year's charity walk, albeit a tweak. So last year we went North Wales to Ellen Road, didn't we? It was Gary Speed's first playing field from where he grew up back to Ellen Road. This year, just going around by a few degrees on the map.
His boyhood club, and where he signed after Leeds, walking from Goodison Park, who obviously host a Premier League football team and will be doing next season as well, most likely.
I'll be able to wave us off.
So that's going to be a depressing start to the walk, unfortunately.
Great bit of planning, Michael.
Yeah, sorry about that. I kind of thought we'd stay up when I came up with this idea start of the season. Yes, we're doing that. So we're going back from walking back from Goodison Park to Leeds, 92 miles again, as it happens, via pretty much exactly the same distance as last year, but via Bolton.
Last year was supposed to be 92, and actually it was about 97.
A few people got lost. Fine,
right. But so where we're stopping, some real cultural hotspots.
We got Bolton for starters. We got Burnley and we got Halifax.
And the exciting part about Bolton is Pink's doing a concert there the same night.
Yeah, that's good.
It was a nightmare getting hotel rooms.
Yeah, although actually we got in before Pink, so we managed to get some of the. I think our rooms are like gold dust. There'll be people about like, how did you manage to get these? You're like, booked them in July, mate, for a walk.
You said that like we are going to be staying in the same suite that Pink was meant to be staying in.
I doubt she's staying in Bolton. She's probably going to go more to Bury or Wigan or somewhere.
Yeah,
I would think somewhere a bit more glamorous.
After Bolton, it is Burnley.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Also hosting Premier League football.
Yeah, the Royal Dyche no longer there.
It's the Royal
Company, been renamed. I did manage to pay a visit there, as it was the Royal Dyche.
That was a pub, wasn't it? The Royal Dyche, yeah. And
yeah.
You had a beer in there, did you?
Yeah, a beer of sorts. It was. I think it was about 40% vinegar. I think it was a mistake to get one off the pumps.
Maybe they just cleaned the lines.
It was cheap though. Yeah, it was like £2 a pint, so £2.50 maybe. It's good. So that was all right. And then on to Halifax, which is actually the home of Andy's Man Club.
Yes.
Which is who we're raising money for.
Yeah,
so.
It feels like a West Riding Cup fixture, doesn't it? Leeds away at Halifax, which is a great one for the kids there. So that's happening June the 7th to the 10th.
Yes.
So a week after the end of the season.
Yeah, there's about even more people doing it this year. Part of the reason we've not been promoting it as early is last year we had to actually recruit some people to do this with us. Whereas this year, pretty much everyone wanted to do it again. So there's only been a few extra spots that have gone out. So, but yeah, 115 walkers this year.
Wow, that's good, isn't it?
So
and I'll be battling on with my plantar fasciitis.
Oh, Rodrigo over here.
What's a hero?
I feel like I am, really, to be honest.
I hope you don't do it so I can really slate you for it.
And raising money for Andy's Man Club this year.
Yes. So if you want to donate to it, it's thesquareball.net/Gary Speed. Same link as we had last year. So you can go on there and there's the little donate button and everything is on the website.
I mean, last year we raised, what was it? It was about 83 grand across the two charities between Andy's Man Club and the Samaritans. And the money that went to Andy's Man Club was over 60 grand, wasn't it? I think it sort of allowed them to put like 3 staff in, wasn't it? Which is like, it was a huge difference to them. Allowed them to expand, and we're dead proud to support them as well.
Yeah, you look up some of the podcasts we've done with them as well on your feed and on YouTube.
More of those will be coming, by the way. But I think we've just been so bloody overwhelmed with the end of the season that they've fallen by the wayside a wee bit. But, however, moving on. What else do we have to talk about then this week? Should we just talk about Gnonto passing his driving test first time?
Did he?
He did.
Of course he did. Of course he passed first time.
Did you pass first time?
I did.
Did you, Rob?
I did actually, yeah.
So did I. Look at that.
Aren't we great?
Look at us.
All right.
Look at us, eh?
How many minor faults?
I can't remember.
3.
Don't matter, does it?
It does.
Nerd. I think if I'd have got one more, I'd have failed.
I think I was fairly close to it, I have to say.
Doesn't surprise me.
I did it in a week, though. I went to Blackpool, unable to drive a car, Friday.
How did you get there?
Passed the test on a train.
Right. Sounds suspicious to me.
Stayed in a really strange B&B in November and did a week.
I bet you went to the cheapest place you could find.
It was just
I bet it was a sex hotel.
I didn't see any there, sadly.
You just had to work a shift, didn't you? It was fine.
Yeah. It's a hole in the wall. No, I did it. It was. I think I got a job basically that I needed to drive for, and I realised I couldn't drive.
Yeah.
So I just rang around some places that saying, "Have you got any spaces next week for an intensive driving thing?" And someone said, "Yeah, there's this one in Blackpool," and I went like, "Fine,
well done.
I'll come." So I went and did that.
Well done. I'm proud of you.
You're all right.
Good. There we go. That's the news for this week. Well done, Willie. Where are you driving yourself off to?
Probably another country. Better transfer. He's
Drive
been
on
linked
the other
with.
side.
Where's he been linked with?
Lazio,
Fiorentina.
Someone who's going to be playing top flight football next season in Italy. But
should we keep him?
I would.
There was a line in Phil Hayes' article for The Athletic this week about some of the players that might leave, and he was kind of saying that Leeds are hopeful, but given good teams want him, it seems unlikely. But there was updates that whatever happens, if we do pull off a miracle and stay up, Weston McKennie is still going to be off.
Oh no!
Which everyone's very upset about. Although again, he's supposedly got good teams wanting to sign him, which is strange.
They can't have watched him recently, unless they just really want that long throw. Which I did see people. Keith Hackett, the referee, was actually saying it's illegal, his throwing method. Why? Because it's one-armed, really.
Is it?
Yeah, what he's doing is he bowls it over arm, but he puts his other hand there to pretend it's a 2-arm throw, but it's actually just a big. If you watch his right arm, just loops over the top, and that does all the power comes from that. It's not a proper throw, apparently. It's his one thing. Let him have it, Keith. That's what I'm saying. It's his only skill, as far as we can see.
There is a good footballer in there.
I
just don't think that we've met the right conditions for it to come out. And
no,
he doesn't look particularly fit. I know people have said that before, but.
Or just, he's probably not asked anymore, because I think it's been clear for a while he's probably not staying. And then it's, why would you?
So, who would you want to keep when the inevitable happens?
The big hope in Phil's article was that they want Tyler Adams to stay, which I think that would be good and very helpful.
There have been one or two little whispers that might just happen, that maybe he feels like he owes us one.
Give him the captaincy, make him sort of the centrepiece of it all. It's a shame that Jackie's probably going to go, because I'd like him to stick around, but it's talk of his new deal's got a release clause, and I think he does have Premier League clubs that would like to sign him. But Sinistera, I think, was an interesting one, because he was mentioned as a player that they expect to have interest in, but he's just not stayed fit, has he? But you think he could, a 46-game season in the Championship probably wouldn't be ideal in that sense, but you think, who is going to want to take a risk on him, given his injury history? But he could be a real good asset and a lot of fun to watch as well. Yeah, which I think would be important, just having some fun and a good player to watch.
God, can you imagine? Imagine enjoying a game again.
Brendan. Did you see the articles this week about Brendan, where the club are saying they expect him to stay?
You're going to force him to stay.
Yeah. It might be good for him. A season in the Championship might be the thing that that encourages him to sort of build up his physicality, shall we say. A good summer, I was saying, on the Guinness and the
roids.
And the roid. I was going to say pies, but okay. Whatever you want to go for. to build him up, and then a bit more physicality in the Championship, and then by the time you get to the Premier League, it's going to look a lot easier, isn't it?
I mean, he is fairly skillful at points.
He's a good footballer.
But Christ, he doesn't have to fall over a lot. And yeah, I don't think he looks like a player made for the Championship, I have to say.
No.
Unless his ability is such that it can carry him there, and maybe people can't get near enough to him.
It's weird though, because at the start of the season he was like all action, everywhere, pressing, high energy, and maybe that could work. But then, as long as he can just stand up a bit longer and not end up upside down when he's defending, that would help.
Sounds simplistic, but just tapping into something Michael said then, it'd be amazing what a few wins for these players might do. It could just be that they're all sick of losing and feeling like they're going to get pasted every week. Whereas if you put them into a division where, I don't know, let's try and win more than 7 or 8 games, shall we?
I think we'll have to.
Yeah.
You're a dreamer.
Yeah, I think as well, you forget how young he is as well, that he's been a big signing and he's come straight in as a first-team player, but he's actually really quite inexperienced, and certainly at this level, he's very inexperienced.
Yeah.
So.
He has played Champions League, but the Champions League games that Salzburg are playing are minimal compared to playing Premier League week in, week out, a 38-game season or whatever. Be interesting to see who owns us and where this goes, and because there's a lot of talk, obviously, with Sampdoria, all that story this week will not go away. Does it feel to you like Rads is off? Looks like it, doesn't it?
It will not go away because he's there doing interviews about it and talking about it and going all Harry Redknapp and having his head out the car saying, yeah, I'm going to buy it, basically. But he's doing his old trick now of talking up Qatari investment, which is sort of, he always talks about and it never actually happens.
It's like his girlfriend who goes to another school, isn't it, the Qataris? Yeah, no, I do. Yeah, I've got one, yeah.
Me and Nasser, tight. We're tight, yeah.
But yeah, he gave an interview earlier this week talking about making a second proposal to buy the club. So it's kind of been unclear when that first proposal happened and when it was rejected or not. But Chris McMenemy has written an article for our blog about the state that Sampdoria are in, and basically like 200 million euros in debt, a load of unpaid wages, which if they're not paid, they could not only be going down to Serie B, but could be demoted to the 4th tier and really have to start again.
It's like regional leagues, isn't it?
So, yeah, it's really like out of the frying pan and into the fire. And also, like, given he's not the thickest of skinned of people, and Sampdoria's ultras have been sending bullets in the post to their current owner and sending a pig's head to the club's offices. So you sort of think, if you're not happy with how Leeds fans sort of think about it, Rads, you might be taking a bit of a risk here.
Is there a chance though to go in as the White Knight there and be the saviour and rescue the club from oblivion and all that?
He's never going to get the appreciation he feels he deserves and craves, is he, from football fans?
No,
you can't win. It's a difficult business, and like you say, for someone who is thin-skinned and craving adoration, it's just not the place to be. You're not a footballer. You're an owner. It's not. People will hate you. Just get used to it.
Maybe that's the sort of people football attracts, though. The people who need that validation.
Rich dickheads.
Yeah, something like that. It does feel like he's off, though, doesn't it? It does feel like we've properly now reached the end of a cycle in terms. And maybe this is the long tail of the Bielsa era as well.
He doesn't have Leeds in his Twitter bio anymore, does he?
Yeah, there was that this week, but I don't know if he ever did.
I was trying to work it out as well.
Yeah.
Because isn't his header still like Ellen Road or something?
Yeah,
so
yeah.
It's one of those things, wasn't it? A bit strange.
Yeah, the idea of an end of a cycle, because obviously Big Sam's going to go. We're going to be shipping out a good number of the players. There's a certain amount of indifference or just acceptance to going down, and maybe it'll be for the best. I know it's a dreadful thing to think. It's always better to stay up, but given where we found ourselves in the tail end of this season, and you start to question the abilities and the minerals of some of these footballers that we've got.
They're making it easy for us to want to throw it all in the bin, aren't they? Because I think at this point last season, it was the end of Bielsa, and we were still in love with that side and didn't want all of that to have been in vain. But a year on,
well, most
you
of
kind of think,
most of them have gone.
So sick of this.
Most of them have gone or are now peripheral or have aged. Like in the case of Luke Ayling, where you can see his time at Leeds is probably coming towards an end, if not at the end. Which it's a crying shame because God, we love him dearly, don't we? And people are just sick of Bamford now and the misses against Leicester, how costly they could be, and so they've all kind of fallen a bit out of favour. They've been diluted by people we've signed since. We kind of got consumed by the whole 3 Americans and the American coach consumed the identity a little bit, didn't it? For better or for worse. I don't know. It feels like that idea of the succession plan that was spoken about has just muddied everything a little bit, and now there just needs to be some sort of clean break at this point. Maybe that's what it is.
It's kind of the fresh start we were promised last summer, which I know there was a big turnover on the squad side of things, or at least with a lot of new players coming in. But there was always that nagging doubt where it's like, but what's happening with the ownership? And you just think with Radrizzani, I mean, like you just said that like he wants to be liked, and you think, well, if it's a weird way of wanting to be liked if you're rocking up at a different club the day after we've just been beaten and effectively relegated as good as.
Looks like he's cutting and running, doesn't it?
And you just think, why could you be asked hanging around and try to do it all again in the Championship? It's like just
the fact that his attention is diverted over there. He strikes you as a bloke who gets like consumed by an idea, and you can't imagine him there trying to rebuild, restart, reboot Sampdoria when he's got Leeds and exactly the same thing needs to happen. Can he do both? It just doesn't strike me as the sort of bloke who could.
And at Leeds as well, he's got to the Chilino point where he's basically sacked everyone, and it's like, well, there's only one person left now, Rads, and it's kind of yourself. So,
well, that's the next point, isn't it? Is that the turnaround on this has to be quick because, well, next season starts in about 5 or 6 days. If we're not, if we're going to be prudent about how we attack it, it needs to start straight away. And if ownership is to change, they need to get 49ers need to get agreement with Radrizzani, and then 49ers then need to go back to their investors and say, right, this is the package. Do you want it? Yeah, good. Pump a lot of money in. And then there's the issue of how do you attack the Championship, I guess, because you would hope that new ownership sees it as an opportunity to attack it aggressively, a chance to get out first time.
Carl Robinson as manager.
Maybe not. Brendan Rodgers is the name that won't go away.
Yeah, I just don't think he'd take it.
Do you not?
We were discussing this before we started recording. I was just saying, I suppose you can just throw loads of money at someone and they might have an idea that actually now I'm really a Premier League manager, but you go, but how about a Premier League salary just doing this? And they might go, yeah.
Or we'll pay you this, and as soon as you get up, look at the size of this bonus. We'll give you a huge bonus, and you get to be a person who ranks alongside Marcelo Bielsa in the thinking of the fans of bringing the club back to the Premier League.
Yeah.
Football's vain, isn't it? It's got people who are vain.
There's the chance, but given the lack of people there to make decisions, I just think we'll probably get Carl Brand because Angus Kinnear's got his number. And they'd just be like, we've already had Big Sam. Can't really get Jesse back. Bielsa's not answering the calls. I think it's Mark Jackson or it's Carl Brand. They're the only two other numbers I've got.
New director of football might help. Stuart Webber, anybody?
Yeah, I've not seen any of this, but you tell me he's not a good bloke.
I mean, I've never met him. I don't know, but the interviews raise a few eyebrows. I think a lot of people have said in the wake of Victor Orta, who seemed to caught so much in terms of attention, at very least, that you probably want a director of football who you never hear from, and we're hearing quite a lot from him this week.
I mean, Webber in that interview came across as a bloke who just needed to have a rest for a long time and sort of stay out of football. But like you say, they're the type of people that sort of can't get out of it because they're just addicted to it. But like on the manager front, Rodgers and Potter are two of the names of at least the type of manager they would like. But they're also the type of manager who could just quite easily sit and wait for the next Premier League manager to be sacked, and they'll probably get one of those gigs. I mean, it was interesting this morning seeing our old mate Arne Slot turning down Tottenham because he's going to stay at Feyenoord, and you basically think,
just waiting for us to come back up, Rob.
Yeah, there you go. He's cotton onto the dream now, hasn't he? But that Spurs gig, they'll probably just end up going to Potter or Rodgers because all the other managers they've been speaking to don't seemingly want it. So, yeah, Leeds hanging the hat on trying to get someone like that it doesn't seem realistic. I stuck a tenner on Vieira a couple of weeks back, although I thought we might still be in the Premier League by that point, but that was just because, similar to you with Corberán, he wanted the gig after Marsh left, and if it's the 49ers in charge, they'll have heard of him, which I think is kind of his big selling point.
Or Big Sam?
No, Michael. No. Well, Southampton have got Russell Martin from Swansea, haven't they? So they're making moves already with an eye to next season. Divisional rivals.
Yeah, I don't know about Russell Martin. He played nice football, didn't he, at MK Dons? And then, I don't know, I just got Swansea mid-table. Is that good? Could be. He got Graham Potter a job, and then he did well, and then got a Chelsea job, then became very rich off it. So, well done, I suppose.
We've got Luton or Coventry coming up, which feels like a kick in the balls, doesn't it? As we're almost inevitably sinking through the quicksand. Whatever.
Not bothered. I mean, you get more tickets at Coventry.
Yeah.
I was going to say, I think I'd like Luton to lose just because I don't want Kinnear to be happy.
Yeah.
So let Coventry win that, I guess.
And we get either Barnsley or Sheffield Wednesday coming up the other way, which at least it adds some interest, doesn't it? Set of South Yorkshire, Leeds hating bastards.
Kind of hope Barnsley win that.
I mean, we did mock Sheffield Wednesday. It'd be funny for Sheffield Wednesday to lose in the final, having that monumental turnaround. It's the derby against Leeds, isn't it? It's the Leeds at Carlisle. It's the monumental semi-final. Hopefully, the final's a massive letdown.
In some ways, it's the Donny playoff final where we'd overcome the 15 points. We'd got past Carlisle in the last minute. It's surely ours. Go. Nothing like.
So, who would you prefer out of those two, Barnsley or Sheffield Wednesday? Don't care. Or
again, these two decent away allocations, both handy-ish to get to, but I think I'd rather Barnsley go up because it'd be funnier.
Yeah, I hope Wednesday lose and they're fancying you're not fit to wear the shirt at them again.
And Barnsley managed by Mickey Duff, of course.
yes,
Leeds champ manager legend on that game we played once.
absolutely. Yeah. Good signing back in the day, wasn't he? So there you go. That pretty much wraps it up for this time. I think if and when relegation is confirmed, we'll do a what next week, and we'll get into it in a little bit more detail there. Because you get the sense that it's not going to be quiet at Leeds, is it? You feel like we might go down at I don't know, is it? We kick off at 4:30, is that right? So let's say by 6:30 something gets announced. Just something. I don't know what it'll be.
They've closed it down. There's too much to do. We're just not going to bother.
The West Ham's ready to blow ahead. They're going to explode it as after the last person's out. And then Angus Kinnear's going to come off with some big shiny new plans. They're going to be like, this is going to be ready for next season. We've been keeping it a secret.
There you go. Part 1 of the show is done here on YouTube. We've got the Spurs preview in part 2. Have a look for that in your feed.
The Square Ball Podcast.